East River Harbor, and a beautiful and wonderful place where I've just enjoyed sketching and drawing. And this is one of the examples of a horizontal composition that has been done. And it's quite windy and quite almost ready to rain right now. So we're just going to be really brief about presenting a horizontal subject with the horizon line, the reinforcing horizontal lines, the vertical lines, moving towards the center of interest. We have the little dock. We have the cast shadows. Of course, there's no sun to give the shadows right now, but we want to show you the eventual painting that you're going to be doing. These sketches have started in the sketchbook, and there's many different possibilities. And as you review and look back, you see the little figures on the beach, the various trees, the random houses, the children on the kayaks, and there's many things that could be added to any composition at any time. So that's why a sketchbook is so immensely valuable. The palette I'm using is a John Pike palette. We have the cool colors, the warm colors, the earth colors, the thinking area, beginning with French ultramarine, cobalt blue, Prussian blue, cerulean, viridian, and a mixed bag of other cool colors. We have alizarin crimson, cadmium red, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, raw sienna. We have Payne's gray, burnt sienna, and ivory black. That is my standard palette, and it has not varied in a lot of years. To begin with, I used a broad aquarelle brush, 1 inch, and I've already done the sky, the backlit sky that will allow for the cast shadows. Today, I'm just simply going to reinforce what I've already started. And to give you an idea of where we do begin, this again is a vertical stroke to high reflection, and I dropped the warm color right into the water as a high reflection for the sky. So we have cadmium yellow, we have Prussian, and then the French ultramarine. This is a water ring that I will later be able to work into the composition. Water rings are good. Actually, we call them oozles. You never know where they're going to go. Oozles are those happy accidents, and they just, occur now and again. Here's another one. I went in with a broad wash of cadmium yellow just to establish the placement of this tree. With so many trees, you never know which one you're going to use. So my interest is to get a good composition. We have cools, we have warms, we have lights, we have darks. We start with a light underpainting. Now I'm going to come back over into the mountain area, and I'm just going to broad stroke an underpainting that will be warm using raw sienna, very lightly indicating those warm colors. And there has to be some contrast because this whole area is just full of green trees. So we want it to have also a suggestion of the cools, and the warms will back them up. So I'm going to go back into this after establishing a few warm colors, and I'm going to see what will happen if I go this direction and start bringing in the idea of the trees that are just full in this background, and they will be made with Prussian blue and yellow ochre. And I began with my brush in this direction, moving up, and very quickly dropping them down. And they will bleed somewhat. These are background trees, and there will be 1 or maybe even 2 more layers over the top of this. Again, it's very important to have a light beginning and then to gradually increase the depth of the value. It's much, much easier to add than to subtract in watercolor painting. The suggestion of learning batik is really important for the student because you learn how to establish layers of color, warms and lights and darks and cools. And it gradually builds. A batik is a wonderful thing to learn. Teaches value painting. And I have the possibility of a run here. I'm on a vertical, so I want to be very careful that I don't lose that foreground. All right. Now this is just a light wash, and I have a few spatters. I want to correct those before they settle. All right. I'm going to bring the warm back into this area because the foreground is full of trees that are very cool in color. And also there's a little house in here that I want to do a lost and found edge right up just behind it. It'll pop up in a few minutes. I probably will put that into middle value, this still being light value. Now as this begins to set, I can come back in and add a little bit more. Suggestion of trees. This being a watercolor, it needs to be just that. I'm painting a watercolor and not a tree. And I've said that to my students over the years. So this is a blended area, and it gives you an ethereal feeling. It's much better, very soft, and I like that. So I'm going to reach down and see if I can get a smaller brush.